Hello,
Hello.
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 My light quit working on me, and it did this the other week too. There we go. Ah,
Wow.
right? It's a good light when it wants to work. Well, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well,
Yeah,
actually,
that's good.
considering like school's about to be back in, and I'm not excited about that, but
Yes. Yes. I feel that.
so guys, if you don't know, which you should, because who doesn't know the wonderful Angie Mayhue?
Hello, everybody. What's
So
up? Oh, there's some
So
people on here.
Angie, yeah, we got quite a few viewers actually. They're hopping in here real quick. They saw your
Yeah.
name on the thing and they were like, "Ooh, get on that." So I wanted to bring this up first thing because you just recently, well, I say recently, it's been like the last couple weeks. You had a TikTok go viral.
Yes, I did. That is so funny that you bring this up. Because, I mean, TikTok is a funny thing in itself, but like, I feel like I got a lot of criticism for not doing color guard on TikTok, which I think is kind of funny because, I mean, like, every part of my social media has to do with TikTok or has to do with color guard, you know? So I wanted to have like this one place where I could post something other than that, you know? And some people didn't really respond well to that, but the one video I made about Amazon, because I've been working there for about a month and a week now. Yeah, that was so funny. People like loved it. And it's so funny because that was like my first week working there. So I had like a really light load of packages. And everyone read me for that on there. They were like, you only deliver 150 packages. And now I like deliver like 300 a day because I've been working there. But it's like so funny because it was my first week. I just wanted to make a cute little video. I was thinking, you know, no one watches my TikToks. Like, whatever. So it's
And then magically all of a sudden everyone's watching your TikToks.
Yeah, and it's funny because I like totally have spent hours making a TikTok before and it gets no views. And then that one I made like in 5 minutes on a lunch break and everyone was like, ah, like that was so funny. Yeah, that's funny that you brought that up.
Honestly, that's how that goes though. Like our biggest video is literally like we were folding the floor at our last rehearsal and we were just like really sad and I was like, okay, everybody just like, it's okay, just be sad for a second, but I'm gonna film you being sad just for a second. And all I did was like walk around them while they're folding the last of the floor. 20 million views. I mean, granted, it's been up for like 6 months now.
That's
but like,
amazing.
What?
I didn't even know 20 million people did color guard. That's just crazy.
I don't even know. I don't know. It was crazy. And there's a lot of people who didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Like they thought we were burying someone. I was like,
God.
how did you think we're burying someone?
Oh my God. They were like, sorry for your loss. Like,
oh yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Oh, it was so bad. Oh my gosh. But it's all good. Honestly, when you got your first million view video, I was like, I knew she would. It's Angie.
It's just it's that you're right. It's always how that happens. It's the one that you least expect. You're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
That's even on Instagram too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like you post something, you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna post a toss real quick.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yes. Or you're like, I spent so long trying to make this video and nobody cares.
Nope. Exactly. I think it says something about like how much we like to see things that we can relate to versus things that are really hard to put together and like took a long time to do.
Yeah.
I really do. So that brings up my next thought. Well, we have a lot of people who asked the question. They wanted to know where you marched. So where have you marched drum corps and where have you taught at?
Sure. So I'm originally from North Huntington, Pennsylvania. So if you ever heard of a little Scholastic World Guard named Norwin, I went there for 4 years. Yes. They were great. They were great the whole time I was there. It was my first world-class experience. And they're great still to this day. I love watching them. So I went to high school at Norwin. When I graduated, I went to Penn State for school. But I started marching right away at Carolina Crown. And I did 3 years at Crown, which was 14, 15, 16. And
Very
then
good
in
years.
17, yes, they were great years. I wish I marched 13, but that's okay. And then in 17, my staff that was originally with Crown transitioned over to Boston Crusaders. So I went to go march there for 17 and for 18. My age out was 18 SOS. And then
Such
while I was
show
doing
also.
that, yes. And then while I was doing that, I was also marching 4 years at Pride of Cincinnati. So that was a little bit harder because I did go to school through those 4 years, and I did commute from Pennsylvania all the way to the bottom of Ohio. So it was like 5 hours, 5.5 hours each way. And I know people that have done way, way more, but there was like a whole lot on my plate those couple of years. And then right after I aged out in 18, I went right back to teaching Boston in 19. And it was amazing. I got to choreograph. I wrote like a lot of that flag book that year. And I just loved, like, at first I was nervous because, you know, there was going to be kids in there that I just marched with, but everyone was so respectful of me. And I bonded with kids that I marched with even more after teaching them. And it was just incredible it was incredible to be put on a team that was that amazing, like, and to be trusted with the things that I was given. So then, this past winter, I was lucky enough to teach Inspire, which is the Boston Crusaders Winter Guard. Which they came out of Indy. This season was cut short like everyone's, but they were pretty much the most incredible group of humans, like color guard wise. I couldn't imagine, like, I had just aged out last year and I couldn't imagine doing anything that they were doing in that show. I was like, this is really gonna, like, I'm sad that didn't make it to WGI because that would have been like amazing to see on the floor, you know.
Color guard has like accelerated the point you made about doing like you just aged out and then all of a sudden like the next generation is already doing stuff you can't do. Yeah, like, okay, now imagine take that and put yourself in like your mid-30s
and multiply it. But, like,
yes, exactly. It's like I've got people, they're like requesting things. They're like, oh, can you do like a double turnaround somersault? And I'm like, no. Let me
I get
call
stuff like that all the time. Like, there are things like, oh, can you do, I mean, everyone should elevate their, you know, skills, but like it's just funny it is very, very progressed even in the years that, like, these past years. If you watch videos of like my first Pride show that I've ever seen was 2012, and I saw that in person.
Whoa.
And even if you watch,
so jealous. I love that show.
Yes, and even if you watch 12 to 19, the amount of like responsibility from person to person is just incredible. Like, color guard has, especially winter guard, has just blossomed in the last like 5 or so years. It's crazy to watch.
It is. It's so insane. It's so innovative and creative. Like, people are just out there doing these things, and oh my gosh, it's just awesome. So, okay, so you taught at Crusader, at Crossman, sorry. You taught Crusaders, Crusaders, and then you went to Crossman?
No. I went Crusaders for just the 1 year that I taught in 19, and then Inspire was their winter guard.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know where I got Crossman in there. I'm getting my brain all mixed up with it.
Yeah. Inspire was their winter guard, and it was their first year coming out last year, and then they didn't get to finish the season, but they were incredible. It was basically a similar staff too, and design and everything, so that was awesome.
That makes sense. I mean, if you can carry that same staff who like works well together over into another season, oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Ironically, a lot of the Boston staff lives in Indy, like a lot of us do. So like that's great to have those people like in close areas you can work with, especially when it comes to like high schools and stuff. You know, there's a lot of similar staff around here.
Oh, so cool. So are you teaching any high schools?
Yeah, so right now I teach Greenfield Central. My roommate actually is the director there. His name is Rico.
Nice.
And and so I teach Greenfield pretty much full time for like what I can do. And then I also teach a bunch of groups in Pennsylvania. So like whenever I go home, I teach Kiski area, which is like my little babies. Like we've had them for like 5 or 6 years. And then I also teach like Slippery Rock University. Sometimes I'm at like Penn Trafford. Those are mostly like people that I grew up with in the same circuit that are like, they'll text me and be like, hey, you want to come into rehearsal like on Tuesday? And like that is like more so that relationship as opposed to like a full-time teaching staff. But everyone, awesome. I mean, if you like look, I have like this color guard resume somewhere online, and the amount of high schools that I've been to, like it's just incredible. And I love seeing all of them. Like even if it's like, hey, can you come into on this Thursday night and write something? Like I have seen so many high schools, and the way that everyone does it is so crazy that it's so different. But the love that people have for the activity is just insane. Like I can't even believe that so many people this one time I was going to my friend Sierra Bennett. She was like, can you come into Westerville this week? And Westerville's like in Ohio or something. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like I'll come in. And I think maybe like, I think I just watched. I didn't even like write. I didn't do anything. I didn't clean. I just watched rehearsal. And at the end of the night, a girl in her color guard came up to me and did the full out choreography of a piece that I put on my Instagram. Like she did the
Oh
whole
my
thing
gosh.
and like she nailed it. And I was like,
oh,
I
my
recorded
heart.
it. I like fell over. I was like, this is incredible that people like, they love this so much that they're going to take time out of like their normal life to learn things, you know. It was just, it was so great. I would love meeting her, and it's just weird, like people that I don't know, have no connection to, and they get inspired by those things and they want to learn it and they want to better themselves, which is just amazing.
Do you guys hear that? Like if you want to show your love, like go learn stuff and put put it out there, like film yourself, put it out there.
For sure.
I mean, have like, fans in Brazil saying hello.
Yes, hey Brazil. That's incredible. Yeah, like one of my favorite things about social media is that you don't have to be a part of one of the best color guards in the world to learn from the best people. Like, you know, like Punk Rock Irving, like Robert Jordan, they always have like Mike Rosales, he always has the breakdown camp. You could learn from people, especially now virtually. It's like, girl, take a class, you know, learn a ditty, whatever you want to do, you know. So that's pretty cool. I like that because now all of the classes are kind of blending together too. It's like, oh, you have A-class kids that can do 2 turns. That's not really A-class, you know. Like, so that's pretty cool. Like how much people really.
I'm interested to see like these kids that are doing this. What happens when they go back to their home winter guards and like we actually have a winter guard season again and actually like that's gonna push everybody so much.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and this is such a hard time, but it's totally like the progression of how much better you get on this off time is completely and entirely up to you. You know, like it's hard. And we tell the kids that we teach that like every single day. We're like, listen, if you want to get better, you just go out and do it, because right now there's no pressure, there's no competition, there's nothing. It's just like, and in that same breath, I think this is an amazing time because me, myself, like, I know I honestly just go from like season to season. Like I'm just kind of like a robot sometimes. I'm like, okay, well, and it's even more so than like percussion or for brass sometimes, because it's like as soon as one ends, like WGI is April 4th or whatever, and then 2 weeks you're like moving in, you know, having April camp for DCI. So this kind of like breath of fresh air is a way to just remember why you like doing this activity, especially for older kids that like are independent and they just keep going, you know, like season after season. It's such a great time to be like, oh, why do I do this? Oh, right, because I like it. It's fun.
Right, it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's not just I'm not beating my body up for no reason.
Right. I think that's an amazing thing to like realize. If anything good comes from this time off, that could be it. You know, having like a time away so you can miss it again, because a lot of us just get into like a zone.
That's honestly, that's such a great perspective to have about it, because I know so many people who are so sad, and I'm like, yes, it is sad, and like we've had a lot of stuff taken away from us, but like we need to use this opportunity. We need to like go back and realize like why we love it, and also like appreciate it more, I guess, because you know, you don't realize you're kind of in the same boat as me, where I'm like, oh yeah, I was always told this could be your last one. You never know. You never know. And we were always like, yeah, whatever. Okay, maybe it's the last one. But it's not going to be the last one. Yeah. And it really could be the last one. You might not get to go to finals.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's it.
And like even more so than that as well, like cherishing the relationships you have with people, because you're not always going to get to see these people. Like I've just like gone into this habit of people that I see every season, you know, I'm just like, yeah, I'll see you like next time. It's just crazy to think that like it's been so long, and then you really, like you said, appreciate the times that you're in person together, because you don't always have that, you know. So that's been pretty eye-opening for me, I think, for sure.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I know you and I have had a conversation about this a little bit before you came and taught at virtual camp, but tell me some more about what do you want to do? Because I know you were saying you don't necessarily want to just teach color guard forever. Like there's more that you want to do. Oh, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, like, I'm definitely exploring different, like, career options, because now it's, like, and for people, like, I think it presents a whole new problem for people that, you know, do color guard for a living. Like, yes, it's so sad for kids in high school that, like, you know, their favorite activity was taken away. But it's kind of different when you, like, moved across the state, or you get your entire income from something that doesn't really exist anymore, you know? So, like, that, not anymore, but, like, at this moment. And that's kind of, that's been hard for me to grasp, honestly, especially because like I feel like it's a duty to be like, hey kids, it's fine, everything's fine. We can still learn, we can still progress, but also like slowly deteriorating inside, not knowing like what the future holds, you know. So
or knowing if you're going to get paid from it. Like
Exactly.
That's another thing. Like people are so out there like this is my money, this is what I make, I'm a designer, I'm a judge, I'm whatever. And
like a lot of the times, like we do it because we love it, but it is our means of, you know, finances and things. So so we did have this conversation. I just think like I think that I've always kind of been somebody that is I guess comfortable speaking, a performer sort of in that way. When I grew up in color guard, I didn't really like the whole social aspect of it. Like now I do. I met some of my best friends through this activity, but like in high school I was like, I don't really come here for the girls. I don't really like, you know, I don't like hanging out with you guys. I just like performing. I like going on the floor and like, you know, doing my thing. And that's always been something that like pulls me, you know, into doing what I love. So in these times I'm trying to find another outlet of doing that. So I do a lot of like social media influencing, which I think I mean I really like doing. I like to do these interviews as well because I think that I'm able to like speak my mind and talk about what I feel and why I feel it. But I also like, I think more real life transitions into like performing, whether it be like acting or singing or dancing. And those are far-fetched dreams, especially when you're like 20. I'm almost 24 years old. Like I have 2 more weeks. So it's so,
wait, when is your birthday?
Oh yeah, my birthday is not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, 18th.
The 18th. My birthday's the 14th.
No way! I did not know that. We're Leo sisters.
We're
I didn't know
buddies.
that. Oh my god, I know so many Leos now in my life. It's just crazy. That's awesome.
Leo's rule social media. That's what I gotta say.
I mean, every Leo that I've met is like just a different type of person. Like it's like everyone likes to speak to everybody, but like I know so many different types of Leos. Like that's my favorite part about us. So that's amazing. Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah,
that's awesome. Have you ever thought about going into something like okay, how would you feel about public speaking versus like online social media speaking?
Yeah, so I mean, I really did love like public speaking classes when I was in college and high school. So as long as I like I would get nervous around people that I know personally, but as long as I don't know them, which is weird to say, I feel like public speaking could be something that I could excel at because, like I said, I've always liked speaking my mind, you know? So I think I think it's a necessary tool. Like people that can't communicate, whether it be like as a teacher or as in a relationship or anything like that, that's a number one skill that you should have because I mean, how are you going to get out how you feel unless you can speak it, you know? It's kind of so exactly. I would definitely like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just my personal opinion. I think you would be a really awesome, like, inspirational speaker, like going into schools and like talking to not necessarily just band kids, but like talking to the school and being like, look, like you can do so much with your life and you can like, these are the positive things that can come out of all this stuff. And, you know, maybe even talking to teachers, like being like, hey, this is how you could use social media in education. Like it's good stuff. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
I definitely think that like, that's something that I would be interested in. But more so like, I don't know, talking in schools would be something I would like find, I don't know, scary, but important. Like, I think that's something that I could definitely do in the future for sure.
Let's take some questions. I got a couple questions going on. What is a skill you don't like to teach? Do you have any skills you don't like to teach?
Ooh, that's a fun question.
It's an interesting one.
This is honestly the first time I've ever been asked that. I love it. I guess that skills that I don't like to teach would be, I cannot do safeties. I do not like to teach safeties. You know what I'm talking about? Like, when your foot, you don't know. So there's a skill, it's a dance skill. And you take your foot and you roll over the top of your foot to like lower yourself down to the ground. Yeah, some people probably call it like different things. Yeah. I cannot do those. My ankles and my knees are just really bad and I can't do those. Something else that's like knee related is like when you do like booty pops, like drop to the ground. Those are really hard on my knees too, so I don't demonstrate those very well.
I made the mistake of putting that in my air blade choreography for virtual camp, and I was like, why did I do this to myself? Yes. I was so
I just put it in my my contest that I just posted like yesterday or the day before, and I only did that like 2 or 3 times. I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to. That's just old. That's just elderly years. But as far as like skills, I mean, it's kind of hard to teach people like tricks. Like people always want to learn how you do tricks. like 2 turns or like sit rolls. And it's really like, I could teach you like 2 or 3 things that are like the basis of it, but it's really going to be about you being aggressive to it and you trying it on your own and being careful and smart. So trick classes are not always my favorite because they're the most dangerous and they're the most like, the people just want to get it so bad and they get frustrated, you know? So I would say that skills or like tricks are probably something I don't like to teach as well.
I would definitely agree on that one. That's one where I'm like, well, I can teach you the technique behind it and I can teach you what you're supposed to do, but I can't do it for you, basically.
Yeah, I could show you it, but I mean, like, that's, you know, like, that's as far as you're going to get unless you try it yourself. Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Any tips for people that want to go work for a band as a guard coach or just write choreography for them?
Sure. So let's see. I would start from where you're from. Like, color guard is a smaller world than you think. And a lot of, actually, pretty much every single job that I've gotten, it's because someone has known me when I was younger or they have heard of me through social media. So I would say that you should reach out to people that you do know and be like, hey, is anybody looking for a guard instructor? And then choreography, a lot of the times, people ask me about this all the time. It's not really like, you don't just jump into it and do choreo really well. You just don't. Like, you have to practice at choreography as much as you do have to practice at, you know, doing color guard. So for me, it's like the first couple places that I was teaching, I wasn't able to do choreo because I was so young and they already had choreographers in place. So that's when I started experimenting, you know, with Instagram and posting things that I thought were cute. And that made me really like realize that this is something that I have a natural talent for that I could get better at if I keep practicing it, you know. So as far as like choreography, it's really, really hard to be one of the top tier choreographers that people just hire unless you're well known from multiple places. So I would say like practice on your own, start small, and then before you know it, you'll be like in Pennsylvania, like my little North Huntington little circuit, like it's been crazy to just get to know the people around that area because of me starting off like, you know, in Norwin, you know. So I would say contact people you know, ask about jobs, and then the most important thing is just to stay humble and stay patient because, I mean, your time will come, and if you practice it, it'll be worth it.
Absolutely. Honestly, that's such a good answer. And then, okay, this is a really good one. We'll go ahead and make this one our last question for the night.
Sure.
How do you know when you reach the level to which you can move up to something more challenging? So how do you know when you can move up a level?
Okay, this is a good question too. I don't ever feel like you should just like wait around and be like, yes, I perfected this, now I can move up, you know. Like, I always like encourage kids to try new things regardless of what level you're at. I think especially now, since we're kind of like just having clinics where it's like advanced rifle or beginner rifle or something like that, it would be fun for you to like try new things because there's not ever really a point in time where you're like, I'm good enough now to move up. Like, you can always be absorbing information. And in the same breath, it's the same for the opposite. You shouldn't always think like, I'm too good for this. Like, there's always things, especially kids at the older level, you know, seniors, juniors, or if you're an independent, there's always something you could be getting better at. And I feel like that's definitely a syndrome that happens when you get older in color guard. You're like, girl, I don't need to do tondus. Like, I can do a 2-turn. But like, that is even more so important because everyone can improve all the time. So I don't think that it's like, we're there now, you know, we can do intermediate instead of beginner. I think it's more so like, take your time, learn little things, but most people don't do that. They don't jump into the deep end, into the advanced, because they're afraid of not being good enough, or they're not being able to catch on to things like other people do. But that's not really what it's about. I mean, I think it's important to remember that if you can learn something, then you did your job. Like, even with like challenges that I post or things like that, I never want to discourage people from feeling like, oh, I wrote this so that you can look bad doing it and then I look bad. You know, like, the point is to learn something new, to challenge yourself, and to stay motivated in that way. So I don't think, I guess I wouldn't say there's not really a time that you're like, I can move up a level. It's just whenever you feel ready to like expand your horizons of skills, I would say, you know.
So literally just like trying new stuff is just go out there and have fun with it and enjoy yourself.
That was it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Angie. You're awesome. I really appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yes. I'm sorry I had to like jump on here. I was like watching Lizzie McGuire and you were like, are you ready? And I was like, dang, I forgot. I'm so excited.
It happens. It happens. I just
Yes.
appreciate it, like I said, because man, it's just it's crazy, and I'm kind of worried. Like I was saying before, school's starting soon, so I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, I've been doing lives every week all summer since like the pandemic happened and everything, and it's like,
Oh wow.
I really don't have time to do this anymore. You know, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
be grading papers and like doing lesson plans
life
and
is happening.
stuff.
It's moving along.
It is. It's just going to keep on going. So
That's awesome.
thank you again so much, guys. I will
Yes.
post the video. If you missed some of it, I will make sure it gets posted and you guys will get to watch the whole thing. So awesome. Angie,
Yes,
you're the
thank
best.
you so much. Thank you.
I'll see you
Have
later.
A good night.